been shocked by the death of the 25-year-old batsman from Australia, Phillip Hughes, who suffered severe head trauma on Tuesday after being struck by a ball during a match. Medical experts in Sydney say Hughes suffered an extremely rare injury. It's been described as a freak accident. News of his death has stunned his family, friends and his teammates. Those in the sport are mourning this young batsman and paying tribute to his great talent.
We're devastated by the loss of our much-loved son and brother Phillip. Cricket was Phillip's life, and we as a family shared that love of the game with him. We love you.
The death of Phillip Hughes has shocked and dismayed millions and millions of Australians. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with his family.
He was a very talented cricketer, a lovely bloke, a humble bloke, was prepared to work hard at his game to try and be the very best he could be. And he was desperately keen to play more for Australia.
Phillip Hughes would have been 26 on Sunday. CNN's Alex Thomas now looks at the life that's been cut off so tragically.
Phillip Hughes was the embodiment of Australian fighting spirit, the perfect man to wear the famous baggy green cap and the history it symbolises for an entire nation. Born on a banana farm in the northern expanses of New South Wales, he developed an unorthodox batting style that became his trademark, and with it he rose to the very top of his sport, opening the batting in the Ashes, the historic contest between Australia and England.
Without doubt, he was a rising star, whose best cricket was still ahead of him. He was a hero to kids around the nation, particularly those in the region around his hometown of Maxville in New South Wales.
Hughes was tipped for the top from a young age. His talent was undoubted, but it was his mental strength that shone through. Aged only 20, he made his test debut against South Africa in 2009. And in only his second match became the youngest ever to score a century in each innings. His form suffered dips in the years that followed, but a determination to never give up saw him reclaim his place in the side. He was tipped to return to the Australian team next week against India. Softly spoken, he preferred to let his batting do the talking, and his teammates and Australian cricket fans loved him for it.
Loved by everyone, Phillip was a quality guy and a remarkable talent. He had many friends and teammates both here, interstate and overseas, and it is important that we offer them all the support and space they need to help deal with this tragic event.
Hughes lost his fight for life just days short of his 26th birthday. His best years were still ahead of him. A freak accident has claimed one of cricket's brightest young talents and left the sporting world in mourning.
It's been described there and by others as a freak accident. Patrick Snell joins us now from CNN Centre. Patrick, if this is a freak accident, and as I understand it, there's only been pretty much one or two other similar cases where a ball has caused this sort, no amount of looking at what can be done really can necessarily prevent it in the future. He was wearing a helmet.
Right. And some players never did, Richard. The legendary Viv Richards never wore a helmet throughout his phenomenally successful top flight playing career. But look, yeah, helmets have been around for decades now, and this is absolutely what's being described by the Australian team. Dr. Richard described it as a freakish accident. The helmet, in a sense, did do its job in that it protected the cranium, it protected his head. It was just that little freakishly small area. It gets through in the back of the net. The ball travelling at around 90 miles an hour. It's coming up off that surface there on the hard track there in Sydney, New South Wales, and with fatal consequences too. And you know, his career had been looking as though it was on the up as well. He'd been out of the Australian Test team, in and out over the last few years, but reportedly back on the brink of a recall to the side. But you're quite right, Richard. It is quite appropriate that the debate on player safety and helmets that go with the game at this highest level of it remain front and centre right now.
If that's the case, help us understand, Patrick, what are some of the suggestions of what might happen? I mean, you can make the helmet obviously been more difficult for the players. You can, I mean, what are people, it's early days, I realise, but what are people saying that could happen to change?
Well, let's get on to that. Let's bring in some sound from someone who's played at the very highest level of the game, a former England captain, Alan Lamb, talking about this very, very topic. Let's hear right now from Alan Lamb, speaking earlier to CNN.
The helmet has been safe, for years. I mean, Keysweather got a ball that came through the visor, broken his nose. So it's not 100% safe. There's no rule written in that wearing a helmet that's going to protect you. It'll protect you from certain injuries. But no one expected someone to lose their life wearing a helmet.
Really tragic story. We've been following it every step of the way here. The CNN Sports office just across the hallway here in Atlanta. Really, really difficult to work on. This is a player struck down, Richard, in the prime of his life. He would have turned 26 on Sunday. Richard.
Patrick Snell, who is at CNN Centre for us this evening. Quest Means Business continues.